Okay, so if you are single like a Pringle babe, this reading is for you. Y'all been asking me, y'all been telling me you need a singles love reading. And so here I am delivering, all right? I don't want to just ask spirit some vague question today though, like, is love coming? Because technically, somebody is always coming, right? I want to know about this person who could actually really change your relationship status, okay? I want to know who they are. I want to know why they entering your life now. How are you going to recognize them? What are they really looking for with you? And really the most important thing I want to know, is this actually somebody worth opening your heart to? Okay, so because listen, y'all, somebody can walk into your life looking exactly like an answered prayer, you know what I mean, and they still turn out to be a lesson, right? So before you answer that DM, or before you get back outside dating, before you decide that somebody is your person, because the chemistry is chemistrying, let's just actually see what spirit has to say about your next significant romantic connection. Because I'm not asking about the random person who wants to waste your Tuesday night, okay? I'm gonna ask about the connection that has the potential to actually shift something in your love life, y'all, okay? Welcome my spiritual collective, you guys, to the Spiritual Connection. This is your hub for divine clarity and soul alignment, you guys. I am the spiritual bridge. I help seekers become finders and healers remember their gifts. Please remember, or please know that if this message found you, trust that it was divine timing, okay? Spirit makes no mistakes, so you are right where you're meant to be, boo. Let's get into the tea, shall we? Now I'm gonna take this reading through a series of questions, because like I said, I really, really want to get in your business and get the story of how this is all gonna take place, what's happening. I don't want, just, oh, are they attractive? Do they like you? Maybe this, no. I want to know what chapter you're in right now. Who is this person? How are they going to enter? What could complicate the connection? All the tea. I need to know what exactly they want from you, where this could realistically go. Because y'all know I'm nosy. I already know what I'm going to want more details by the end of this. So I'm actually working on getting some more cards, y'all, that are going to specifically be geared towards the timing, physical features, clues, those like really, really specific predictions. So definitely make sure y'all stay tuned for that. We'll come back and do a part 2. When I get those, we'll be back at it. So definitely make sure your notification bell is turned on, because I already feel like it. We're going to need that part 2, okay? But today we're going to get the foundation. I need to see, excuse me. I need to see where you are in your life right now. I need to see the current energy of my single collective, okay? Come say hey to me in the comments, y'all. Tell me why, tell me you're here. Tell me you're tapped into the reading. Drop me a little bridge emoji real quick. Sorry, we just had to get a little shuffle, okay? But if you do enjoy these readings, y'all, I really appreciate you so much for leaving good energy on that thumbs up button and hitting the hype button. If YouTube gives it to you, I really, really appreciate it, because it does help these messages travel to people who need them, okay? But all right, I didn't get enough. My singles, before we even look at this person, I need to look at you, because I need to understand why this connection would be entering your life at this particular point. So what chapter are my singles currently closing, Spirit? What is the chapter that's currently, what's going on? What chapter are my singles currently closing or moving out of in love, Spirit? And why does it matter for what's coming next? What's going on here? All right, so, ooh, interesting. We got balance showing up. Queen of Wands at the bottom of the deck. But I love that this balance is showing up, because we're already talking about blending, okay? This definitely feels like my singles are coming out of a season where you may have definitely had to learn to stop losing yourself in love. Because with that blending, I feel like that balance says that there's been some learning moderation, maybe patience, compromise, emotional regulation, discernment, right? But this Queen of Wands showing up underneath definitely says that the real story is that they are, you're reclaiming your confidence, your desirability, your independence, your personal power, really. this is already telling me something important. You know, the chapter that you're moving out of is not necessarily just heartbreak, it's imbalance. That's what I feel like this is. Some of you have had relationships where you gave too much. You accommodated too much, you waited too long, you over explained, you overextended yourself, right? Or you just kept trying to make something work because you thought you could see the potential in it, right? But balance says that you've been learning that love is not supposed to require you to abandon yourself, right, in order to keep it. That's what you've been learning. That's what you've learned. There's a difference, y'all, between compromise and self-sacrifice, okay? There's a difference between being patient with somebody and then putting your own life on pause, waiting for somebody else to get ready. You know what I mean? And I feel like the distinction is something that a lot of you have had to learn the hard way, right? Then, with this Queen of Wands, I'm telling you, while you may have thought that this last chapter was just about, you know, getting over somebody, I feel like Spirit may have actually been rebuilding your relationship with yourself. That's what I'm seeing. Your confidence, your standards, your independence, your ability to say, you know, I like you, but I don't necessarily need you. You know what I mean? I feel like your ability to be attracted to somebody without immediately, you know, handing them the access to your, you know, to your heart, to your whole emotional landscape, right? Some of y'all are getting back to that version of yourself that existed before somebody had you questioning whether you were, you know, too much or not enough, or, you know, you were too independent or too ambitious or too emotional, whatever they said. You was too whatever. They didn't have the capacity. But this Queen of Wands, honey, she sits on her throne. She does not audition. Okay, she is the prize. All right. And what I also love about balance here, though, is that I don't think Spirit is preparing you for another extreme. Like, you know, so if your past relationships have been chaotic, if they've been inconsistent, you know, like hot and cold, or, you know, them situationships, it's giving obsessive, like addictive, kind of like that emotionally exhausting kind of vibe, the next important connection may feel completely different. Okay, I'm telling you, it's gonna be precisely calmer, right? And I feel like, honestly, I'm gonna tell you, that could actually be uncomfortable. When you've gotten used to your chemistry feeling like anxiety, when you've gotten used to, you know, the chaos, it's gonna feel boring, or it's gonna feel weird, right? And it can actually make you uncomfortable. Like I said, you know, some of you are going to have to learn that butterflies are not always confirmation. You know what I mean? Sometimes the butterflies in your stomach is your nervous system trying to say, okay, look, I need you to recognize this dysfunction. Okay. And that may be why balance came out first, because I feel like Spirit is trying to recalibrate what love feels like to you. You know what I mean? But this Queen of Wands definitely gives me another clue, because, you know, this is a singles reading, you know? So I feel like some of you, while you're here as a single, you know, you've been very focused on yourself. That's what it feels like. Focus on your career, focus on your body, your business. It's giving glow up, okay? Your confidence, your creativity, your social life. The card itself, you know, even mentions like balancing, the need for balance between your career and your personal life, right? So, like I said, some of you, love isn't necessarily even being your first priority lately, right? You've been building yourself back up. You've been getting your confidence back. You've been getting your money together. You've been trying to create something or work on something. Literally, I see the glow up, okay? And ironically, that may be exactly when this person is going to enter your life, y'all, okay? So, you know, now I understand why Spirit showed me you first. But, you know, because whoever is coming in, y'all, whoever is coming in next, they can't be somebody who requires you to shrink back. You know, shrink back into an older version of yourself. They're going to have to accept you in this version, okay? You already learned way too much, okay? You're too much of this Queen of Wands now. Like, there's no going back. So, you know, now I really want to know, like, who is capable of meeting this version of you, you know? I need to see who is this person. Show me the energy of the next significant romantic person entering my singles lives, okay? Who is this person? What kind of person are they? What are they bringing with them when they enter? Who is the next significant romantic person entering the single collective's life, Spirit? And what energy are they bringing into this connection? Uh-oh. Look, y'all. What is the next, or who is the next significant romantic person entering my singles live, spirit? And what energy are they bringing? Ooh, interesting. So, wow, we got the Eight of Swords that wanted to pop out, y'all. But look, what's interesting is the wise counselor showing up here at the bottom of the deck. Y'all, this is actually kind of interesting because I feel like the next significant person with this Eight of Swords showing up, it's funny how we just got done talking about your confidence and the Eight of Swords talks about a lack of self-confidence, you know. I feel like this next significant person may be somebody who is very, very much in their head when you meet them, y'all, okay? They are cautious. It gives restrained. It gives maybe even a little emotionally, you know, imprisoned by, you know, their own beliefs, history, or their own responsibilities, or, you know, maybe ideas or thoughts of what they feel like they should do. But with the Hierophant showing up underneath, this is probably not because they don't take relationships seriously, okay? I feel like, honestly, they're probably like this because of the opposite, okay? This person is very much interesting because Spirit is showing me somebody who may actually be more guarded, you know, than they initially appear. With this Eight of Swords is somebody who has convinced themselves that there are limitations around them, okay? So this could definitely be somebody who has been through something in love that made them extremely, extremely cautious, okay? This person could overthink. They could question themselves. You know, they could be afraid of making the wrong decision. They're lacking, you know, they're lacking the confidence. They have stayed in something too long in the past because they didn't believe that they could leave, or, you know, they could have spent a significant period of time just feeling like, you know, love just was not available to them, right? But with this wise counselor showing up, this is Hierophant energy. That changes how I really do see this Eight of Swords, because, you know, this does not look like somebody who doesn't believe in commitment. I'm gonna say that. This looks like somebody who may believe in commitment so strongly that they have become very, very careful about who they commit to. They're not just committing to any Tom, Dick, and Harry, okay? This is a person that may be extremely traditional in some kind of way, you know, not necessarily politically or socially traditional, but more so like they're committed to their values. You know, they value loyalty. They take partnership extremely seriously. You know, they believe in marriage. And this person may definitely have some strong spiritual or religious values. I feel like, you know, this person could care deeply about family approval or family expectations, or, you know, they could just have been raised around very specific ideas about, you know, what relationships should look like, right? And because of that, I feel like they may have spent a lot of time trying to make the right choice, right? The right choice, instead of just following what they actually feel. That's what I feel like is happening. This could absolutely be someone who has had to unlearn some things about love. You know, maybe they were taught that, you know, you stay no matter what, or you know, they were taught that relationships look a certain way. Maybe they choose partners based on what made, you know, sense on paper. Maybe they've spent years being the responsible one, the good one, the dependable one, and it feels like they've almost boxed themselves into a life where there wasn't much room for like emotional spontaneity, you know. It's really interesting, the contrast, because this is your energy being balanced. It's kind of like, you know, cool, calm, collected, and then look at the contrast. Like, you have been learning to stop you losing yourself in relationships. I feel like this person, excuse me, y'all, may be learning how to stop imprisoning themselves inside the idea of relationships, or inside their ideas of beliefs about relationships. So both of y'all are coming out of some kind of like relational conditioning. You know, you have learned that you don't have to overgive. They may be learning, you know, they don't have to live by fear or obligation, or, you know, somebody else's expectations. I feel like that makes this connection feel purposeful, you know. Then with the Hierophant showing up, I'm gonna tell you, this person, when they finally do make a choice, when they choose, they're not just making a casual decision. Okay, this person could very much move kind of slow, and I want you to be prepared for that, because if you're used to coming in, people coming in like hot, coming in very fast and like very intense, this person may not necessarily do that, y'all. They may observe you first. They may ask you questions. They may, need to trust you. They may need to know that this isn't going to blow their life up before they fully, surrender to it. But with this wise counselor showing up, if they decide that this is real, I'm telling you, I don't think they are approaching this like a fling, a fly by night kind of thing. This is a really, really good, I feel like the intention would be really, really good for you, okay? So, the wise counselor could also show somebody in a teaching position. They could be a counselor or some type of leader. This could even be like a spiritual, someone that's in the spiritual realm, doing something spiritually inclined, an institutional, or, like they're an advisor. Okay. They work for maybe a large institution of some sort, or work around education, law, government, especially religion, possibly just like it gives corporate structure. Okay. I'm just keeping my eye on the possibility that this person has some kind of position where people keep coming to them for guidance or expertise. I'm going to say that, because with that wise counselor underneath, that can sometimes show someone who is, very respected for what they know. All right. Which is funny, because they might be everybody else's wise counselor, y'all, while they are privately like overthinking their own life into the ground. And I feel like that's every healer. You can heal the others, but when it comes to healing yourself, it's like, they say doctors are the worst patients. Yeah. But okay, so now I know something about them. This may not be the loudest person in the room, romantically. They might not, immediately try to come in and sweep you off your feet. In fact, I could see some of you initially even wondering, like, is this person even interested in me? Like, because I do feel like there is some level of restraint around them. So, I feel like that means the next question becomes really, really important. How you gonna recognize them, right? What happens around this connection that makes you go, okay, wait, is this the person that Spirit is trying to talk about? Okay, yeah. So let's see. Let's ask Spirit, how will my singles recognize this person or this connection when it enters their life, Spirit? How will my singles recognize this person or the connection once it enters their life? Oh, look, that was a lot happening. The Eight of Wands came out on top of all of that. It was a lot of cards that came out. But the Eight of Wands, it gives like, they're coming towards you. Okay, but how will my singles recognize this person? Interesting. We'll try to just get one card. Okay. How will my singles recognize this person or this connection when it enters their life, Spirit? Interesting. Oh, wow. So the Six of Pentacles is showing up. The Chariot is showing up at the bottom of the deck. Now, this isn't going to be everybody's story, but I'm picking up somebody's gonna, it feels like this is a cute little love story. It almost feels like a little fairy tale. You may have car trouble, and this person is willing to help. With the Six of Pentacles showing up, it definitely does feel like some type of assistance, right? And then the Chariot showing up at the bottom of the deck. This is Cancerian energy. The Chariot can definitely represent a car in the tarot. But with the Chariot energy, Cancer energy, this feels like, with the combination, this feels like someone wanting to do something for you, help you. And that's why I feel like for somebody, they may do something nice and you get kind of like an inkling, like, does this person? But it throws you off because it feels like maybe they're just doing something nice and you can't really tell if they're serious about you or whatever. Yeah, that's what I'm picking up for somebody. The circumstances are just really saying you're gonna recognize this person by what they do, not by what they say. That's what I'm saying here. Because this is, I asked Spirit to give me something tangible around how you're going to recognize this person. And we get the Six of Pentacles. The Pentacles are tangible, okay? So there may literally be some type of exchange involved when you meet them or when this connection happens, okay? Somebody is helping somebody. Like I said, the specific story may be a card for you, but there's some type of assistance or help in some type of way. Somebody is giving somebody something or paying for something, offering some type of assistance or sharing resources or an opportunity or information, something, okay? This could be someone that you meet through work or business. It doesn't have to be, but you could just be buying something from them. They could be buying something from you. Somebody could refer you to somebody, or somebody could connect you with an opportunity. You could meet through charity, y'all, volunteering, mentorship, especially that sounds tied to this person, okay? Education, some type of service or financial matters, a client situation. There is some kind of give and take happening around this introduction with the Six of Pentacles showing up. And because of the Chariot underneath, and then we saw that Eight of Wands. I was talking about the movement. I'm definitely seeing movement, okay? Especially with the Chariot, okay? Because the Chariot, like I said, can be the car in tarot. This represents like transportation and travel, distance, okay? Commuting. Somebody could be on the go, relocating. This can become very, very, this could be a traveling kind of situation. This could happen while you're traveling, while you're going somewhere, coming back from somewhere, at an airport, expect like on a work trip for somebody, during a move, okay? While handling something, like I said, involving your vehicle, or even just because one of you does have to travel some type of distance to see the other. I feel like I'm not saying it's gonna definitely happen at an airport, but definitely that may be the situation for someone. There's something deeper here too, though, because you remember this balance, the collective. You've been learning reciprocity, okay? An even swap and a swindle. And you see here, now this card tells you that you're gonna recognize this person, this connection, by the Six of Pentacles, which is literally reciprocity. That's the story, okay? Like, do y'all see how Spirit is repeating itself? Okay. We talked about you coming out of these situations where maybe you were the one that was carrying the relationship. You were the one doing all the accommodating. You were the one overgiving. And now Spirit says, one way you're going to recognize this person, I feel like the next person is through reciprocity. They give back. That is excellent, y'all. This may be one of those connections where I feel like you're almost waiting for the other shoe to drop because it feels too good to be true. Because you're just so accustomed to doing everything for yourself. Like, you're the one that says, I got it, but this person wants to tell you that they got it. Let me help you. They want to ask you, did you get home? Or for some of you, this person could be traveling to you. Like, they want to come to you. What they're asking you what you need, letting you know that they'll take care of something. You're like, oh, like, this is a nice change of pace. Okay, we're participating over here. And I don't want to like make this seem like this is somebody just rich and famous, because they don't have to be. This is somebody. Six of Pentacles is more about someone's relationship to giving, okay? They don't necessarily have to be wealthy, but I think that you are going to notice that this person doesn't make you beg for basic consideration, okay? There is some sense of generosity about them, and generosity is not just money, y'all. It's time, it's attention, it's effort, it's info, it's support, it's them showing up, y'all. Okay, now with the Eight of Swords, this is where this person gets even more interesting, because like I said, they may be cautious emotionally, remember I said, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be stingy with their actions, okay? This could actually be somebody, who shows you that they care long before they're comfortable saying that they care about you, okay? Yeah, like, that's what it's giving. Like, they may overthink the emotional conversation, but have absolutely like no problem coming over to help you do something, or take care of this or whatever. they might hesitate before saying, you know, hey, I really like you. But they've already driven 45 minutes to make sure that you got something that you need. Like, you know, somebody like you if they're doing that. You know what I mean? I feel like, pay attention to what they're doing, okay? Pay attention to the actions, because this may not initially be the person, you know, giving you the biggest romantic speech, right? But this person could absolutely quietly be making your life easier behind the scenes, and that's what your soul actually desires, okay? And with the Chariot too, this is somebody I feel like that is successful or ambitious. You know, this is a driven energy. Combine that with the Six of Pentacles, this could be somebody who has worked for what they have, and now like they have this stability and they share it, right? Especially them being the wise counselor. So, you know, we're starting to build somebody who could be, or see somebody who could be responsible, respected, you know, established in some way. You know, they're very service oriented, okay? They have some type of service oriented job, but mentally they are guarded, okay? That's the person, okay? That is the person that you are going to connect. But because right now, I gotta figure out what the catch is, because right now I feel like Spirit has given us, you know, you're reclaiming your balance and your confidence, and this person is coming in. They take commitment seriously, but they're a little guarded, okay? But this connection is given that it's marked by, you know, a give and take, reciprocity, like a tangible effort. That's what I'm seeing. And movement surrounding this connection. It's really, really beautiful. But I want to ask, you know, because every meaningful relationship kind of requires us to navigate something, right? And I absolutely want to know what it is before, you know, we start promising these people wedding bells, right? Spirit done show me all the good stuff. Tell me what my collective needs to know that they may not immediately see. What's the complication? What's the challenge? What's the catch, Spirit? What's the caution around this person or this connection? What do my singles need to understand before they become emotionally invested in this person, Spirit? Interesting. We got the King of Pentacles showing up, you guys. So definitely is giving that this person is very established, okay? Very accomplished, and I feel like very much well respected in their community, okay? I'm gonna tell you though, this was not the complication I expected, y'all, because with this King of Pentacles is actually a very, very strong card for a significant partner, okay? This is somebody extremely grounded, like I said, extremely accomplished, stable, mature, provider mindset, okay? Somebody who has built something in their life. So I feel like the catch here may not be that this person is just like a mess. You know, the catch may be that they don't come packaged the way that, you know, you might usually expect chemistry to look or feel, you know, because look what showed up at the bottom of the deck, this Four of Cups, y'all. And that this card literally talks about missing an opportunity because you're not recognizing what's being offered. Okay, literally. So for some of you, the warning is not, you know, watch out for the person. The warning is don't overlook this person. That's what I feel like this is. Do not overlook them, y'all. This may be somebody who initially feels too calm. I'm feeling somebody saying boring. Okay, too predictable. They're too practical. They're too busy. Okay, maybe they're not your physical type. They could even be of a different ethnicity for somebody. I'm picking that up. You know, maybe they don't come with fireworks and obsession and that instant intensity, you know. And if your nervous system has been trained to associate, you know, that chaos with chemistry, y'all, you might look at this person, you might look at somebody stable and think like, I ain't really feeling it. But come back to balance, y'all. Remember the very first card, this reading, Spirit already told us that some of you are learning a different definition of love. So this next relationship may not feel like what hurt you. it is not going to feel like what hurt you, okay? This King of Pentacles, this person may also be very, very, very focused on their career, just like you were. They're focused on their career, their money, their business, their properties, their family, their responsibilities for building a future, right? So, you know, they may not necessarily have just endless free time to just be all up your behind, right? They move deliberately. They might not be constantly texting you all day. It may take a while to text back, right? But when they say they're coming, when this person say they're gonna be there, they're gonna be there, okay? When they say they're gonna handle something, you know, I hate when people just open up their mouth and say they're gonna do something and then they don't do it. It's like you could have just not said nothing. They're gonna say it and mean it and follow up, okay? They said what they said and they meant it, all right? Remember, we already had the Six of Pentacles. So again, Spirit keeps showing me somebody whose affection may be expressed through their reliability. And I'm telling you, it's a tangible effort with the Pentacles showing up. They give, they don't mind giving. I'm gonna say that they don't mind giving. Where you used to be the one that had to give and give and give, and the other person took, this is giving a different balance, okay? But here's what I don't know yet. I want to know, like, does this person actually want to open up? What are their true intentions? You know, where does this relationship go? What happens once, you know, the two of you get past this initial stage? And honestly, I don't want to rush into those questions because I feel like this story deserves its own second half, really. So I'm gonna stop right here, because this started as a singles reading, and somehow Spirit done introduced, you know, us to a very specific kind of person, somebody stable, somebody generous, y'all, somebody potentially successful or established, you know, somebody who takes commitment extremely seriously, okay? But I'm telling you, they may be guarded, they may be slower to open up, and honestly, I feel like the warning is, like, they may be easy to overlook, y'all. I'm telling you, because you're not. It's like, if you're expecting love to show up with fireworks and like, oh, it's just can't eat, can't sleep over the moon kind of thing, you may miss out on this, okay? But I need to know what happens next, y'all. In part 2, I want to ask what this person's true intentions are. You know, what's going to happen when this connection actually deepens and develops, right? I want to know the outcome. I need to know all the business, all the tea. So I'm going to pull some oracle cards so that we can get even more specific about this romantic energy between the two of y'all. And then after that, when I get my my timing cards and my characteristics card, y'all already know. We gonna do the nosy version, okay? I want the timing, I want the clues, I want the features, how you meet, all of it, okay? I need it all. So definitely make sure your notification bell is turned on, because we are absolutely going to continue this story in the next video, y'all. But before you go, tell me in the comments, would you recognize a King of Pentacles type? If they came into your life, would you recognize them? Or are you somebody who, you know, you usually go for the exciting one, the louder one in the room first? Drop me a bridge if you're coming back for part 2 in the comment section, okay? And if this already feels a little too specific, and you want clarity around your own love life, personal readings and sessions with me are linked in the description box and the pinned comment section. Make sure you leave me some good energy on that thumbs up button, you guys. Hit hype if YouTube gives it to you. And I will see y'all in part 2, okay?